I forgot.
Oh, nice. And
Okay.
we'll explain at the end about all the different places where you'll be able to see it or share it or whatever. So,
Okay, cool.
well, that's a good reason to make you stick around.
All right. Here we go.
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what
Howdy, folks. Welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve. I'm glad you're here. Also glad Soul Gravy's here. He's on
I'm
top
glad
there.
I'm here too. I'm glad you're here as well.
Thanks, man.
And I mean that.
Well, so do I. Very excited tonight to have our friend Erick Willis joining us. Howdy, Eric. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. To be 100% truthful, I think I've been trying for a little bit to get you on, but you've been pretty busy, and we finally were able to connect the dots and get you away from hunting and fishing land for a little bit and be able to get you on here and chat. So thanks so much for taking time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys.
You were one of the first names that came up in between, as far as when me and Steve kind of made
Yep.
friends on TikTok and whatnot.
Which has
Yeah,
been a little while.
Because of Bill, we'll dive into all that. But that was
Yeah.
the first commonality, and then went from there. So yeah, glad to have you on.
For sure,
Belie-
guys.
Believe it or not, we have not been canceled by the FCC. This is episode number 140 something. So
Wow. You guys have
shocked.
been knocking them out.
Yeah, shocked that we're still here. We're going to keep rolling with it. But first off, thank you if you are on YouTube. As always, we appreciate y'all being there. I see you. Always nice to have folks in the chat. We're going to try to make it entertaining for you tonight. Also, if you're on Facebook or TikTok, thanks. And yeah, there we go. So, Eric, if you don't mind taking a couple minutes and just giving us a little bit of your backstory, just so if the folks for some reason aren't familiar with you, then they'll get to know you a little bit.
For sure. I'm Erick Willis, based out of Fort Worth, Texas now, but I came down the highway. I was born in Wichita Falls, Texas, and grew up in that area, as well as Henrietta, where I went to middle school and high school. Been singing from a pretty young age. My mom gave me and my sister a shot at gymnastics when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and that apparently wasn't for me. And she switched me over into vocal lessons and kind of started me down this path of singing and playing music. From then, I did a lot of singing in the church. My grandma was in the choir at the Methodist church there in Wichita Falls, and grew up singing solos at church and, national anthems at school functions and stuff like that. And just kind of progressed to there. After, I think, high school was the first real guitar I got. We had a fine arts credit, you have to graduate high school, and my junior year they added a guitar class to our curriculum, and so obviously had to get in that. Got my arts credit that way, and it kind of sent me down the path of learning all my favorite Texas country songs via tabs on the internet, and after that, some open mic nights and stuff like that, and kind of progressed from there. Started writing my own tunes, in college. Some stuff I care not to listen back to, but where we first started cutting my teeth at open mic nights, songwriting, so that type of thing, and started getting my path down to writing my own songs.
Fantastic. All right. Well, that gives us a great baseline to work from. We are going to start with Henrietta and Wichita Falls Soul Gravy.
So as soon as he said it, like I have American Aquarium, Wichita Falls in my head every
Well,
time.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's nobody by the name of BJ Barm that's going to be asked this evening. But
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not from the area. So
all right, so I'm going to give you a break, Soul Gravy. The first three from Henrietta, I'm just going to go ahead and call it an
Okay.
0 for 3.
Okay.
So I feel like I should give you a chance, but I'm not going to. We're going to go
That's
straight
okay.
we're going to go
okay.
straight to Wichita Falls.
All
And
right.
folks, you are in for a treat tonight. We're doing audio clues tonight.
Nice.
It feels more pressure, I think, on the
It
audio
is a little
clues.
bit, but
Yes.
I have confidence in you.
Well, good.
All right, are we ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, here's the first audio clue.
That's it. What's the name of the song? Is that Lifestyles of the Rich and No.
No, it's probably about when you were born. Close to it. I don't know how old you are.
No, that was definitely not from 81.
It's close.
Oh,
Well,
really?
the song title is close.
I've heard this many times. I'm going,
Young man that started this band is
is it Bowling Soup?
it is 1985.
Okay.
Bing,
Okay.
bing, bing.
Yeah, well done, Jared Reddick
It
and
just
the guys
took a little while.
are from Wichita Falls. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
1 for 1, Soul Gravy.
He seems to be I don't know a ton about him, but he seems to be a really interesting guy and has a lot of respect amongst the community in rock music and country music.
Absolutely, he's
Mm-hmm.
been out there doing his thing. So, at one point, I don't know, but at one point he had like one of the more well-known podcasts out there.
Huh.
I'm
And
not
then we
sure.
came along.
Well, yeah, I mean, these things happen. So, Joe Rogan, whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. This next gentleman, this one's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I've never wanted wealth untold.
Yeah. I'm not familiar.
This is Don Cherry.
Okay. I've heard
Don
the name.
Cherry is a pretty well-known pop singer. Also, apparently a badass golfer. So shout out to Don. I figured that might be a tough one, but folks, you can find this playlist under Texas to Tennessee audio clues. All right, next up, let's see here. Oh, I gotta find this. Where did I put it? This is not great production. Here we go. This is a little bit of a sideways clue, Soul Gravy.
I mean, this is Star Wars, right?
No, it's not Star Wars.
Okay, then I don't know.
Does that help?
This is Star Wars.
Superman.
Oh, son of a.
All right, young lady's name is Phyllis Coates. That
Sorry,
should help
Phyllis.
because there weren't a bunch of women in that movie.
Okay, she was the Lois Lane.
She was.
And I
Shout out
watched
to-
I watched those a bunch when I was a kid, but
Yep. Well, apparently didn't retain it.
no. It doesn't-
Lois Lane was in the 1951 version of Superman.
well, then,
Phyllis Coates.
no.
Yep.
Then I
Okay.
did not watch that one.
Tough one. That was difficult. All right. Next up,
Super difficult.
feel like this is possible.
Slash Dr. Phil. You all look totally different than you do when I'm on TV.
Dr. Phil?
Can't see
Yep.
you.
Well,
It's
the
audio,
clue was in the audio clip. Dr.
Okay.
Phil from Wichita Falls, apparently born there. So
Fun fact: my aunt was a receptionist for Dr. Phil for a short period of time.
oh,
It looks stuff up.
These are the things
Yeah.
we love. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
okay. Well done. Soul Gravy, you're 2 for 3.
Oh.
Pretty good start. Let's see who's next. Ooh, this one's going to be hard. Are you a fan of slowcore?
I don't think so.
I'm not either, but maybe I should be. You get bonus points if you can tell me the song or the name of the band.
Yep.
It kind of sounds a little bit like Chili Peppers intro.
I like some video game music.
Yep. This is a band called Bedhead.
Okay.
Song's called Golden Brown. The two gentlemen, I believe, are brothers that started this band, and their name is Matt and Bubba Kadane, Kadane.
Shout out to Bubba.
Bedhead. Yep. All right. Got a couple more. We have one big one to finish with, and it has multiple songs. Okay. So we won't have to listen to all of them, but you'll recognize them. So it'll make sense when we get there.
Okay.
As soon as I find it. Here we go. How cowboy are you?
Me. I mean, is this... Is this Lonesome Dove?
It is. Look at you. All right. So here's where it gets tricky.
I haven't
You get a
watched
half
that
point
forever.
just for getting that right.
Okay.
One of the great westerns of all time, in my opinion. Who wrote that?
Yeah. I
Not
don't
the
remember.
song, but the book.
I know I should know, but I don't.
All right. He has a son that plays in our music scene.
No, like I said, I know. I mean,
doesn't
I've heard the
help.
name a thousand times, but I can't tell you right now.
That was written by a gentleman by the name of Larry McMurtry.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
And yep, they're pretty good at writing in that family.
Apparently so, right?
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is the last one. I think you're going to get it, but we'll see. All of these songs were written in part by this individual. So here's the first song.
I was sitting at a table in a little club downtown.
You said all the songs were written in part by this fella,
By this, not by this person,
not by the
singing
singer,
the
but
song,
okay,
this-
that would be
the
Dean
person.
Dillon?
No, but that's a good
No?
guess. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Dallas packed her suit.
I'm just trying to think of somebody that wrote a bunch of songs. It's like Gaddis.
Nope. Another good guess. A little more Nashville than that, but here we go. Third song.
That's a Levon Helm song.
Levon did write it with somebody.
Let me phone Levon and see what it
That's
says.
the rub. All right, hold on. We got more.
That's a hell of a jump between Alan Jackson and Levon Helm, though.
Oh, just wait. Just wait.
Okay.
All right, George Strait. All right, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, I know all these songs, but I don't know who wrote it.
All right, hold on. This is the big jump. He also wrote songs for Al Jarreau, if that helps.
Okay. No, it doesn't help.
This is Dr. Hook. Shout out to
Yeah.
Dr. Hook.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you...
I
think
hear
you
they
know
made
this
it on the
song.
cover of the Rolling Stone.
Maybe. This is McBride and the Ride. this is maybe, I don't know if you remember this one or not, but
I remember McBride in the Ride.
yep. All right, and then last one is,
Okay.
man, he wrote some bangers.
He did.
Any guesses?
No. I mean, I did guess, but I'm out
right.
of guesses.
Yep, Keith Stegall.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have got
So,
that one.
also from Wichita Falls.
All right.
Soul Gravy, you did pretty well. I
Uh,
thought you were going to get the last one, but it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's always okay.
We'll give you
I'm
46% tonight.
I'm still kind of blown away that the someone that wrote "Don't Rock the Jukebox" wrote "Hurricane Would Leave on Him."
And also wrote Sexy Eyes.
That's
Yeah.
a hell of a repertoire.
He was versatile. Also shout out to Rex Tillerson. He was the 69th Secretary of the State. Used to be CEO of ExxonMobil. So also from Wichita Falls. All right, Eric, thank you very much for indulging us.
Yeah, man, that was a lot of trivia I didn't know the answers to either. And I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, sometimes
good
it's
stuff.
educational. Sometimes it's just making fun of Soul Gravy. So
We're gonna have to tell them. There's a Texas Roadhouse there where they have a mural on the wall with like all the famous people from Wichita Falls,
oh, nice.
and so they've missed a few that I'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
tell.
All right, that's good. All right. Well, speaking of weird questions, we save one for the end, and then I ask one right up front, so everything in the middle is typically okay. But this is called the pie question. A little feedback there, Soul Gravy.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a musical pie, and we're going to divide it up into 4 sections, Eric. Those 4 sections include songwriting, recording, performing, and then the 4th slice is everything else that you spend your time doing that is not one of those 3 things. So all the back end, all the business, booking, whatever it may be, that's the 4th slice of pie. But it helps me figure out kind of where you sit musically, but where do you naturally gravitate to out of any of those 4 sections?
I think what my most confidence is, and what I'm most spent the most hours doing, I'm sure, is singing. So I think the performing side of stuff and the vocal performance is probably what what I'm most comfortable in
Yeah.
for the main part.
And everybody and everybody has a different answer, but when did you figure that out? When did you know, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. This is where I want to spend my time. And
I don't know. Some people, I'm kind of jealous of some people because they have this kind of like aha moment, or this certain thing that they can like trace it back to, where they're like, that's when I knew that's what I wanted to do.
right.
And I think a lot of that, I knew, I was singing from a real young age. I was doing vocal lessons. We're singing in church and like talent shows, Opry shows, like little stuff, review show, those old time like country review type shows. We were doing that, and all that stuff was fun, and I loved the feedback from it, the energy you get back from it. But I just don't think I knew that was something that was like a path, or like lifestyle
option.
that you could pursue for.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't know that until it didn't even seem possible till the first time someone offered me money to play music for them, because all that stuff we did back in the day was just, like I said, to have fun, to showcase, to like those different stuff like that. So I think that took me a long time. And then even once that started happening, I think the first time it was someone asking me to play at a graduation party, and they'd pay me $100 to play for 3 hours. And I was working at Academy Sports and Outdoors and going to college, and that sounded so much cooler.
Sounds pretty good, right?
But also, one show every 4 months that pays $100, you still don't look at that as kind of an option or a path to go. Still trying to do all these other things. And the more that stuff happened, it kind of turned on that light. Oh man, maybe this is something you lean into and make something you do.
What was the movement, out of those 3 hour $100 shows? When did that movement start? You don't have to tell me age, but essentially, when did that start, and when did the movement go? I assume you were in a position where you were playing, some covers and maybe not all your original music, but then obviously you're at a point now where you're selling tickets, and like that's a whole different thing. Can you talk a little bit about that movement?
Yeah, sure. I think that, looking back, I still have a hard time when people ask me how long I've been doing it. I have to literally like go back and count because they run together so much, and
Sure.
it seems like it was 5 years ago, but then when I start thinking about, I graduated high school in 2008, and I went to Midwestern State College there in Wichita Falls for about 2 years, and that was those 2 years was when I really finally started playing music out just via some open mic nights and
Right.
stuff like that. And I think I had a couple songs written at that time, but stuff that I don't even think to this day it was stuff that I would never even have sung at an open mic night or anything like that. I was going to open mic nights and singing Hootie and the Blowfish
Sure.
and a Stoney LaRue song, and and I didn't have any songs. So I think that took some years, 2 or 3 years to just even, write your first batch of 5 to 10 songs that you're even comfortable showing to anybody. And then obviously, you kind of fall in love with the playing live though before all that stuff happened, or at least I did. So you're out there, playing a couple shows where you make $100 and you're playing for 3 hours. And like I said, it was the age of tabs on the computer, and it's like I could type in you Matchbox 20 and all their songs came up, and it didn't show you. It was the complete wrong way, like how to learn how to play guitar, because it's just a bunch of numbers that shows you
Notes.
where exactly to put your fingers. So
Right.
it's like you don't know what you're playing or anything. But I started learning enough songs that that you could cover some time and play some shows. But I think it took a good while for the original music and the songwriting to be strong enough to even support trying to push and promote and play your own songs. For me, it took a little while,
Yeah. Well, I think
three or
that's
four,
normal.
3, 4, 5 years before I even had, I think it was 3 years into that I recorded my first EP, which was a 5 song, and those were like the 5 songs that I had. It wasn't like we whittled it
Right.
down from 30. Like
Or
those were the
making them all
songs.
fit. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I don't know. It took a little longer for me, I think, than some people. Some people, I think, were doing that songwriter thing first. Maybe they weren't as comfortable playing out and singing, but they were working on that stuff a little sooner than I was. But it came shortly after, because once I started, singing, it went from, oh, this is cool to play songs out live, and then to those be your own songs and people receiving those, and you know once you get into that, that's a whole nother addiction to feed off of, or it was for me.
Now, were you playing in Wichita Falls? Was that kind of where you started? I mean,
That was about it
obviously
for a
that's where you.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they had an open mic night that a buddy of mine ran at the Iron Horse Pub there on every Wednesday night, and they had this thing. I still look back; it's still one of my favorite things. This old dance hall in Wichita Falls called Outskirts Dance Hall,
oh,
and they had this thing on Tuesday nights called Chicken and Pickin', and it was sponsored by Golden Chick, and it was like all these baskets of
delicious.
free fried chicken, and it was $3 pitchers of domestics. And so me and my buddy would go and eat about 12 chicken legs, and each take turns buying $3 pitchers
Right.
and playing my 2 or 3 songs. But that was about it in Wichita Falls. We had two, 3 bars that you could play music at, and so you kind of just made your way around there doing that until we started to venture out into DFW area. Started going out to Lubbock a lot. Once I found out they had, their songwriter night out there, which was way different from our like open mic nights because it's a songwriter night. Like you can't play a cover song. You
Right.
can't, it was treated a whole lot differently. And when I started making the trek out to Lubbock and met a lot of uh, other musicians and songwriters around my age that were trying to do the same thing. It kind of connected some of those dots for me.
And did the move to playing shows, and I assume in Amarillo and Lubbock and in the general area, did that start making you think, oh, like maybe I need to move to the Metroplex or to Fort Worth or
Yeah,
in that general vicinity?
Lubbock was the place. I almost moved to Lubbock about 3 times.
Okay.
The first couple bands that I put together were guys out of Lubbock because, like I said, I went out there. I made all these friends with the folks at the songwriter night, and at the time at the songwriter night out there, like Red Shahan, he was the door guy and making pizzas.
Yeah.
Grady Spencer, Charlie Stout, Brandon Adams, all these guys were like regulars at Blue Light out there, and I met those guys, and then through them met a bunch of working musicians out there in the area, and so I finally started playing with some guys out there, and almost like I said, almost moved out there, and I ended up. I was out there a lot of the time, just sleeping on couches and that type of stuff. But it felt like a different scene, compared to where I was, just because Wichita Falls, it was just so much smaller, and it was, you were either a 18-year-old garage band or like a 70-year-old blues
Yep.
cat and there wasn't much of the in between,
Bob
working
Wills
class
tribute
musician.
band.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I almost moved to Lubbock 3 or 4 times, never made the move, and then once I was touring a lot, and it kind of sucked traveling out of Wichita Falls especially when you're going further down south in Texas and all that type of stuff. But it got to be where the price of living was so cheap there, and I was like gone all the time anyway. I was like, it's just kind of just a place for me to hub out of. But finally, I think it's been about 8 years now.
Okay.
Finally made the move down to Fort Worth, and have really been loving it here in the scene, everything we've got here.
Yeah, it's a great community. Soul Gravy, it is your turn for questions.
I would like, as a Tennessee guy, I would like for you to kind of elaborate on that Fort Worth scene a little bit, just because we hear Texas country just in general, and it's one big blanket statement, and but since we started having a lot of people on, and just meeting different people, you realize it's not just Austin, and there seems to be a large network of people out of Fort Worth doing that these days.
For sure. Um, I think what kind of sets Fort Worth apart, they do have a little bit of everything. You can go from up in the stockyards where you're gonna boot scoot and get your real Texas honky tonk stuff, and then you come. It's funny, you can kind of just like by the different areas, it kind of divides up, and you can go down to Southside and see a screamo band. You can be right here in the heart of Fort Worth and go to the Post, which is like this cool songwriter room. And then for guys, like that are doing the Texas country Americana stuff, we've got 95.9 The Ranch radio station, which is one of the bigger names and stations that's right here too, that has done a lot of help for us. Radio's changed so much over these last few years, but I think their name and reputation is still held up far longer than a lot of radio stations that have kind of fallen to the wayside with the new age of stuff. And so I
Hmm.
think, man, we've got that, we've got all the things you need, without kind of, I don't think it's overexploited or overpopulated yet to the point where, we've outgrown what we can do for Austin is its own thing. And yeah, you can find so much to do there, and it's so flooded. But I think that's what comes into play with Austin sometimes, that it's so so flooded, so much all the time that it can having it a little more concentrated and a little more thought out is kind of what Fort Worth feels like to me. Makes it a little bit different.
Gotcha. As far as, I mean, I'm assuming it's a pretty good hub as far as finding your working musicians to work with guys like you that are releasing independent music as
Yeah,
well.
for sure. I've learned that too. That was another reason for the move down here is just the amount of, musicians, not only for people to play in your band, but people to collaborate, songwriting with, uh, crew people that are in the scene, people that are recording, recording studio, just the amount of stuff we've got here compared to where I was is it's night and day. So
Hmm.
it's like not that you can't do it from there. I know everything's becoming more DIY. You can record a record in this bedroom right here and make it sound great, but having some of those resources and some of those places, can make a big difference for some stuff.
Ideas and people that you're working with and lead you down different roads that you wouldn't find in the bedroom, you know?
For sure. And like, from Fort Worth to Dallas and all of those, little surrounding cities, I think about Fort Worth all the time, but it's like you work with guys that are an hour and a half away on the other side of the Metroplex, and it's even bigger than it seems, which it's already a great scene, like I said, just here in Fort Worth.
Well, Talbot, we're about halftime.
I know it's shocking, Eric.
I know.
It probably feels like 3 hours, but it's already been 30 minutes. You have been nice enough to allow us to play, give us your money. Can you
yeah.
take maybe a couple minutes and just give us a little bit about, you can do it on the front end or the back end, whichever you prefer, but tell us a little bit about Give Us Your Money.
Yeah. So this is a song I wrote with my buddy, my old guitar player, Ben Atkins. He's one of my favorite guys to write with. If you look at the past couple records, I think over half of them I've written with Ben. He's one of those guys, with songwriting, it all comes down to like comfortability and how, and I love writing with new people and making those, but there's something about getting in a room with one of your buddies that you've wrote 100 songs with that it's just different. And so when it came time to write this record, we had set aside some time to get together and write a few times, and got to his house, and I was telling him how I couldn't get down to the Iron Horse Pub, which is downtown Wichita Falls, because they had like 3 or 4 of the streets shut down. And he's like, "Oh yeah, the church is adding some more bowling lanes," and I was just like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, they have got that bowling alley in their church, and they needed more lanes." So we have like 3 downtown streets shut down because the church was adding some more bowling lanes to their bowling alley. And I was just like, well, we're not writing any other song today than that one right there.
Right.
And
For
then
sure.
so we kind of took it to the extremes, and this was right around the time we were both hooked on the Righteous Gemstones.
Yep.
And so we took it. We were thinking with that in mind, and we're really wanting to shoot a music video for that song, and
So many possibilities.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many possibilities. But yeah, that's how it came to about, and it's one of my favorites on the record.
Mine too. All right, folks. Eric, you and I are going to go quiet so that little microphone button so we can get the best cut of this.
Okay.
Soul Gravy, the pressure's on.
We got to get the song played at the bowling alley. That's
100%.
all right, here we go.
Come give us your money. us your money, we'll give it to God. Come give us your money. Father needs a new suit. Come give us your money, 'cause God needs one too. And when they cross the plate, don't hesitate. The more you give, the more you make. Come on and give us your money, we'll give it to God. Brothers and sisters, we are gathered here today to look up. We're here today to lift up. We ask that you rise up and testify. And we ask that you not only open up your hearts, but you open up your pocketbooks. And His blessings will rain down upon you. Can I get an amen? Come give us your money. Need to renovate. Yeah, come give us your money. You need some bowling lanes. Yeah, when your precious child starts running wild, don't go letting the devil inside. Come on and give us your money, we'll give it to God. Yeah, come give us your money, we'll give it to God. Come give us your money, give us all you got. Yeah, when the bank runs out, you're gonna scream and shout. You'll have a lot more to bitch about. Yeah, come on and give us your money, we'll give it to God.
Yeah, we definitely got to get that played at the bowling alley.
Baby Billy. I mean,
That's right.
That's right.
if you don't get it, can't help you. But man, the horns on that, I have a little bit of a home court advantage. I was lucky enough to get to hear with the horn section, I believe at the post within
Yeah.
the last 30 days, and it was amazing. Tug was on the drums, and Drew was on the keys, and I mean, it was an amazing sound in a great venue. So super cool.
Thanks, man.
Tug came up in conversation last night, correct?
Yeah, he's kind of a superstar.
Yeah, he's been getting around.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make sure that we talk about one. We need to make sure we talk about the event coming up in October. But two, we got to talk about Mint's deal. Who came up with the name? who was sarcastic enough to come up with that? And I mean,
So
that's right up my alley.
That came up. So I've my band. I've been kind of my normal band. I've been having them learn like Vince Gill song after Vince Gill song, just for a random cover to throw in, with the regular set for a long time. So we've been playing, 4 or 5 different Vince Gill songs over the years, to the point I told them to learn another one, and they're like, we're just going to become a Vince Gill tribute band. And it's just like, man, I should do that. And so just jokingly, I told that to Drew, and he's like, yeah, I'd totally be down to do that. And I was like, well, before we even find any more players, we got to come up with a cool name. And so we were just, I think, I'm trying to think of there were the first couple originations of the name that we wanted the same, like, syllables, sound, and everything, but like as close as we could get it. And we were talking about something dill, and I was like, well, if we mince up the dill, it'll be like relish, and our logo could be a jar of relish, and we could be minced dill. And so we just went from there.
Perfect.
And so our first, I don't know if the first logo's on there, but our first logo was like a jar of dill relish.
So, Eric, just to make sure we're shouting out all the appropriate members, can you walk us through all the members of Mint Still and who they actually play with? Like, when they're
Yeah,
not
for
doing
sure.
men
Yeah.
still.
And that was the thing, man. I went and asked all these. Drew was the first guy, and he said he would do it, and I was like, well, who should we hit up? And so Mark, who's my guitar player in my band, Mark McDuffie, he plays guitar, and then first I do a lot of. Well, I'm always been around Bill Corbin a bunch, and at the time I was working out with him in his home gym for a while, and so he was my first thought to go for bass player, and I hit him up, and you know how much like Bill's involved with at the time. I think this was before he was playing with the Motor Cars,
For sure.
but he was
Yeah.
with like 7 other bands
Yes.
already. Like Bill plays with, obviously he played with American Aquarium back in the day, and then he's been with everyone under the sun.
Right.
And so at that time, I think he was with T Brothers. Uh, he was playing with Jamie Lynn Wilson and 2 or 3 other acts, and he manages a gym and is a personal trainer and does, all this stuff on the side. So I was like, "Hey,
I can
man, I
handle
know you're super busy, like, but," and he was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do it." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit," and he's like, "Man," and I've been playing with Tug. Tug was playing with him at the time for Kyle Nix. That's who he
Yes.
was with at the time.
Yep.
And so he was like, "I bet Tug would be into it." And I was like, "No way." I was like, "Well, let's ask him." And he said yes. And then I was like, "Oh." So I started assembling this all-star lineup, and then the last guy I asked, I was like, "Well, I can't play good enough like lead guitar to like to do any part of that." So I was like, let's do 2 lead guitars." And so we hit up Hunter Parody, who at the time was with Mike Ryan. He's now on the road with William Clark Green.
Yeah.
But all those guys, they were the first person I asked at each position, and they all said yes. So I kind of couldn't believe it. And so,
It never
to
works
have-
that way.
yeah, and to have
Never
like
works
that
that way.
all-star lineup,
Right. Yeah.
playing, because like Vince Gill songs are not like easy. They're technical songs from every standpoint.
Yep.
Like if you go back and listen to those recordings, which we did, when we started this project, we're going back and listening to all this old stuff. And these got, Drew's going through and he's downloading like all these old synth sound patches, and Tug's pulling out his chimes for his kit. Like they did everything exactly like the stuff was recorded on the record. And so it's been so much fun.
Do you think that they were that interested because it wasn't going to be cheesy and challenging, and you know what I mean? Vince is on a musically,
I
he's
think that probably,
extremely well respected. So
I think that was probably why it was a little different than asking just people, "Oh, let's just do a random, cover band." I was like, to really, and we kind of made it a point because, we've had some gig offers and stuff where they're, "Oh yeah, we're looking for 90s country." And I'm like, "Oh, we do 90s country, but it's all
Very specific."
Yeah. I always think of the, I don't know if it's not Wedding Crashers, or one of those, where he said the cover band at the wedding says they play strictly 80s Joel.
Oh,
And I was like, "Well, we play strictly 90s Gil."
was that Wedding Singer? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe. I don't know.
Strictly 80s Joel.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
Well-
Step Brothers, I think.
It was
Yeah.
Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you're being super humble, but like it's super cool and it's funny, but these guys are all amazing. Like
Yeah,
they
they
play
are.
in your favorite bands. They're absolute killers, and if you don't want to come see any of the folks at Stocktober, you just should show up for Men Still, because they're absolutely amazing. They're going to play for a while, so very much looking forward to that.
It's fun, yeah. And I tell it to some people, they're like, "Just all Vince Gill?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "But you're going to be surprised, because people don't think they know enough Vince Gill, and then you
You know
hear the
all
whole
of them.
set and you know every song."
Absolutely. Soul Gravy, I also have this for you. So the album came out. Sorry, turn it
Okay.
sideways. The album. I don't own a CD player. I'm exposing myself. Eric was nice enough to part with one of his CDs, but I'm holding it for you here. So
okay,
yep, I know it'll go well with all your LPs.
right.
And we got vinyl coming in too. It's going to be like
Oh,
end of
nice.
October, but that's on order too.
Sweet. Yeah. Very, very cool.
And also folks can check out the episodes that we've had with Bill Corbin and Drew Harrickman. Both of those guys were
Yeah,
cool
man,
enough to come on the podcast. So
those guys are all just killer. And I think when we got together with that group for the first time for a rehearsal, and the fact that we showed up and they were playing like I said, some of these parts of these songs are not like simple, and they showed up and these guys were playing them note for note, and just like everyone was I think everyone was so stoked because everyone's fans of Vince Gill that like I said, we didn't want it to ever come across. We have some fun with the name and some stuff like that, but like where the music comes from, it's like no bullshit. It's just
Yeah.
like Vince Gill and like doing it right. Because I was like the one thing I would never want to do is do an injustice to a Vince Gill song because I'm such a fan anyway.
but then you got a not long ago you got a shout out on was it Shred with Shifty,
Yeah,
right? Shredding with Shifty, with the Vince Gill episode. I'm pretty sure didn't he asked Vince if he had heard of you guys, right?
yeah. So he
Are you
at
from-
least we're at least on his radar now. It was pretty funny. We have a group chat with all the guys in the band, and someone sent a clip from that podcast, and it was just Vince talking about like his favorite Telecaster, because we always in that group chat we just send nothing but like Vince Gill stuff back together. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to listen to that podcast when I walk my dogs later. And so I walk my dogs around the block a couple times, and they're down to like the last 5 minutes of the show or something where they do listener questions. And it
That's
was
right.
literally the last listener question of the deal. And I'm like probably 10 feet away or 10 yards away from my front steps. And they're like, last question from so and so. It's like, what do you
From
think
Bill
of?
Corbin from Fort Worth,
Yeah.
Texas.
I still haven't looked up who it was that said that, but they're like, last question is like, have you ever heard of Vince Gill? And I honestly just like stopped in my tracks and like looked around like I was getting punked or something, because I was like, what in the hell just happened? So I got back in here and like got on the phone and texted those guys. I was like, they mentioned us on that podcast that you just sent me a clip of. And so it was a cool day, man. But I was so glad that they didn't like say something and get like mad or like something like I was like, and then Chris Shiflett was like, oh yeah, I listened to them and they sounded pretty good. He's like, they were kind
Yeah.
of killing it, and I was like, nice.
Absolutely. We need to see more clips of that video replayed on socials.
Yes,
Just to
yeah,
kind of spread from the marketing arm of Mint Still.
for sure.
So, yep.
And so we said we were gonna make shirts in quotations because
They're
Vince
kind of killing it.
Well, that and then Vince saying, never heard of him.
That's on the back.
Yeah, that's
But
on the
yeah,
back.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Vince Gill, never heard of him.
was going to ask one more thing about the Mint Steel thing. Did you have the green guitar before the band, or did you add that after the fact?
I did, yeah. I've had the
Okay.
infatuation with green. That kind of helped in play with the name and the theme for the band as well. But the pickle guitar
Fits
definitely
together.
came before. Yeah,
Okay.
Well, we don't want to give away any secrets for the show on the 15th, but you're going to want to show up for that. So,
for sure. I've been
well,
talking
I do
to
know
some
3
other
of us
folks.
will be there. So,
Nice.
beyond that, I'm not sure. But anyway,
I was talking to some other folks that are on the lineup, and I think we're gonna have a couple folks jump up and do some Vince Gill songs with us. So it'll be a fun
very
time.
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Well,
What song is Talbot going to sing?
Yeah, send me your song.
Yeah, y'all are safe. Let's see. We are actually towards the end, believe it or not. We're going to get into a little rapid fire. And then Soul Gravy has one pretty important question to ask you. So
Okay.
buckle up for that one. I want to know, I don't know if you're old enough for this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there an album or a CD that you've purchased more than once?
Not that I can think of, but I'm trying to think. There was probably some CDs that I had purchased back back in the day that I had to re-download or something, repurchase again.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any specifically, no, that I've
Okay.
had to buy twice.
Eric, we'll ask it a little bit different. You are on a desert island, and you get to take one album with you. It can't be yours. What album are you taking with you?
Man, people have asked me this before and they get disappointed in it depends who they are. Some people get disappointed in my answer because they think it's kind of like cliche, but the AC/DC Black and Back in Black album.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
that kind of just lived in my stereo entirety of high school,
Yeah.
and maybe a year or two after that. And so there's no CD I don't think I know better, like front to back.
all right. Solid
It all
answer.
goes into ways. Yeah.
We haven't had that one yet, so I'm excited.
Oh, nice.
You would think with as many as we've done that we would have more repeats but we've had a couple Tom Petty repeats, but other than that, not many.
No, all over the place.
Yeah, which is cool. All right, what would you be doing if you weren't doing music?
Oh, man, that's tough because once you get this far down the line, I feel like those avenues kind of narrow because, well, at least from having done this so long, I think the main thing I would have to do is like something where you could be your own boss like this, and that could be a lot of different things. I've worked everything from service industry to construction to kind of everything in between. And yeah, I think if you'd asked me when I was like younger and I was going to college, and I thought I was going to like teach history and be a football coach.
Oh,
I was big into football. Like I said, I didn't have any other ideas what I wanted to pursue until the music thing kind of came along. But then, like I said, after that's happened, during COVID, it was one of the first times that I had to kind of get a quote unquote real job. And I drove a truck delivering tires for the longest time. And just the monotony of the punch in the clock and the kind of no end in sight, the kind of no reward, no kind of thing. I was like, oh man, if this were to go away, I would really have to think about what I was doing. But I think I don't know. Maybe it would probably be something with my hands, construction, landscaping. I don't know.
yeah. Well, all right, fair enough. We're not going to find out. So,
I hope not.
since you mentioned history, you get to have dinner with one historical figure, dead or alive. You choose. What are you eating, and who are you eating with?
Okay, I'm gonna eat chicken fried, whitetail backstrap,
Oh,
mashed potatoes, and green beans with Teddy Roosevelt.
well done. We've had
Yeah.
Teddy as an answer before, but there's
Oh,
a
nice.
reason why he gets selected more than once. So.
But not the backstrap.
No, Backdrop's the first one. Yeah. Well done. I can ask you this. I only ask it of people that I've seen live, but I'm curious. What do you see when you play?
Well, I guess it depends on the place, the night. There's some places. Yeah, I think it just depends, man, because we've had such vast, different. Even like we've been on this album release tour, and we've had some really great nights, and we've had some nights that you were like, man, what's the difference? So it's like we played this thing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And some of that has to do with the size of the place, the energy of the place, and like you were at the one there at the Post, where everything is like jam packed in that room.
Yeah, it's
A
snug.
lot of lights in your face. You can see stuff, but you're not seeing like individuals and things. And I like that when it's like that. I don't like to be distracted because some places where it's too well lit in the audience or in the venue, or it's too spread out, or my mind starts to wander and like focusing on all these little things happening out there. So I do. I don't like the like total like light blindness that
Right.
happens in some places where you're just whited out and you can't see anything. But like places like that, we had another good one at Dan's in Denton
Sure.
where you could see people, you could see that they're having fun, and you're at a close enough places where you're seeing those first couple rows and you're seeing some expressions on their faces and stuff too. That's what I like to see. It's
Yep.
it's not always that case, but
Sure.
but that's
Cool.
what I'm after for sure.
Soul Gravy brought up the green aspect, so staying in line with that. What's your ideal green room look like?
Ideally, it's green, but those are
There you
fewer and far between
They
nowadays.
are. They are.
Um, Man, just a couple of nice couches are monumental. I don't really need a TV. TVs are nice back there, but a couple of couches and a refrigerator with some cold waters. If you're lucky enough to get a green room with a bathroom attached, that's living the high
That is living the high life. All right, so this is Soul Gravy's question, but he lets me ask it. First concert that you attended, and then the first concert that you paid for, maybe somebody didn't take you or whatever.
life. I think aside from some aside from some like church programs or like Christmas shows that like I went to with my grandma, I think the first like concert I like went out and saw was Sawyer Brown
Oh, nice.
That's
at the Oklahoma City State Fair years ago, and it was crazy because it was one of the first concerts I think we like went to, like that wasn't in our hometown. It wasn't that we went out, bought tickets, and drove somewhere for. We're in Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City is about a 2 hour drive or something like that. And we drove up there. It was the state fair, and my grandpa at the time had some COPD and a bunch of health problems. We were pushing him in a wheelchair. Sawyer Brown was one of his favorite acts, and we got stuck in this like torrential downpour,
Oh no.
flash flood thing about 3/4 of the way through the show. And so it was obviously a memorable experience. We got to see, a Sawyer Brown shows, high energy, like
Yeah.
crazy high energy show, and then interrupted by total mayhem as we ran and pushed him to the flooded parking lot to our
Oh,
car and drove home like soaking wet and cold to Wichita Falls.
yeah.
Remember it fondly.
It's
yeah.
impressive.
Sawyer Brown was my first ever concert
Oh, really?
in the
Nice.
mid '80s at the local fair in Memphis.
Nice.
I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember that Betty was being bad. You know,
Hey, there you go.
my grandma's name is Betty, so that's
Oh, nice.
yeah. She's not bad, but we always,
Yes.
it goes. Yeah, you get it.
Without saying.
Well,
All right.
my grandpa was bald too, like me, and so he liked the song that he did. Some girls don't like girls like me. Oh, but some girls do, and he would rub his bald head, and say,
Oh, that was a great memory.
Uh,
All right. So to follow up on the second part of that question, first concert you went to where you paid your money.
I believe that probably had to be Warped Tour in
Oh,
high school, probably my freshman year of high school, with me and three or four buddies. We paid whatever it was, $58, went and hung out at 108-degree Warped Tour all day.
was that down at by the Cotton Bowl or I don't?
Well, it was trying to think what it was called at the time, Smirnoff,
Okay.
whatever it was,
Yeah.
whatever it is now. Yeah, but
Cool. Good answer. Couple other questions and then I'll hand you off for the big finish. I want to know a bucket list venue that you would like to play in Texas, and then maybe a venue outside of Texas that you might fit on that requirement or that list.
inside of Texas, I'm trying to think of some place. We've played a lot of places. Obviously, there's plenty of places we haven't played, but there's plenty of places we've played that I think I'd like to do. One of my shows. We've done a
Yeah.
lot of stuff at Green Hall opening. We've done the acoustic show on the dance floor, during the week. But I think to do a headlining show on a Saturday at Green Hall
That'd be pretty
one of
cool.
those.
Yeah.
And it's not, there's plenty of bigger places, but something about that place that it's still a stepping point to me.
It's iconic for sure. And then, would you have one outside of Texas that you'd like to play?
Man, as you can see by, well, a lot of my posters behind me, my all-time favorite venue is Red Rocks.
Yeah.
We've seen I think now about 12 shows there
Oh,
over the
dang! All
years.
right.
And I actually did get to sing on stage. I don't say that I got to play Red Rocks. My buddy Zach Nightomp got to open for camp there, and he invited me up to sing harmonies on them with 2 songs on there. So
That counts.
I've been on the stage. I've looked up at 10,000 people there, but it just like made me want to do that. Even, as my show.
That makes sense. All right. Well, great job with the rapid fire. Soul Gravy, are you ready for the big finish?
I'm ready. All right. So y'all make sure you go follow Eric on all of his socials, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and follow the Men's Deal page as well. Go check out his music on all the streaming platforms. Hit that follow button over there. Remember, artists don't like to sell themselves, but that's part of the deal. The more followers they have, the more interaction they have, the better it is for all these independent guys like this. So, and I know they appreciate it. So, all right, this started off as a joke on episode 1, and now it is a requirement that we ask this. Bill and Drew both have answered this. So, all right, Eric, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Okay. Is it are the Christmas trees Little Debbie?
There.
Mm-hmm.
Those are it, man.
All right.
Gotcha.
The Christmas
They should be
trees.
coming into production soon.
I know, yeah.
Oh, they were
And
probably made in June. They should be
They got
coming at, yeah,
they've got an 8-year lifespan on them. So.
Right.
probably. Yeah.
Great answer.
Oh yeah, I can't look. I look forward to those every hunting season, man. I put one of those in the
Absolutely.
backpack.
Yep. Well, Eric, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Folks, come join us on October 15th. You'll get to hear Eric. You'll get to hear a bunch of other great artists. You'll also get, if you haven't yet, you'll get introduced to Mint Still. So come hang out with us at the Rhinestone on the 15th. Eric, man, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight.
Man, thank y'all so much, man. It's been fun.
Good times. We'll have you hang back for just a sec. Y'all take care.
I gotta play this.
Oh, here we go.
So if you see her out, well, just tell her I called and that I'm sitting here alone. I'll wait till fall.
Okay, I had to get that.
Well done.
Do you listen to that when you're driving through Wichita Falls? Have you ever done?
I'm actually heading there tonight, so
Oh, nice.
I'll listen on the way.
All right, there you go.
The live version at I think it's Terminal West. I think that's my favorite version of that song. So,
It's a good one.
all right, here we go. Thank y'all.
See ya. All righty.